In my blog the other day, I talked a bit about the flaws of the government's attitudes towards illness and disability benefits, and how their ways of changing to try and save money from benefits is actually both ruining people's lives and actually costing more money. And today I want to talk a bit about the inherent contradictions within David Cameron's concept of the big society. The concept of a society in which he says everyone does their part, they're able to take their initiative as individuals, to have power, to find what they're good at, to do it, to build a healthier, more cohesive and well-functioning society. And yet the changes he's making seem to be contradicting that. Take, for example, the workfare scheme that attracted so much attention in the press recently. People on job seekers allowance are being forced to give up their searches for work and give up any voluntary work that they're doing, and going to stack shelves at businesses, for example Tesco's and Poundland. For example, in the case recently of Kate Riley, who found herself in the position of being a graduate, as many people are finding now, of graduating only to find that there's no graduate jobs. She went onto job seekers allowance and began voluntary work at a museum. This should be exactly the sort of thing that Cameron, within the big society concept, should approve of. Someone who has got an education and uses their qualifications to do a job they're very suited to, and provides an important service to the public and to educate people. And yet the workfare scheme took her from that and made her stack shelves for 2 weeks in Poundland, leaving the museum extremely short-staffed. It took her from contributing to the desperately underfunded and understaffed public service, and instead increased the profit margins of a massive private company, at no benefit to society at large. She took her complaint to court and won, but the ethos behind workfare reveals a deep-seated value of Cameron's, that the only way to contribute to society or the economy is through paid work, and that those who are unable to find work suitable to them or are too ill to work are a drain on society and have a negative financial input in society. I'm part of Occupy Exeter. I've helped write press releases, I've helped organise talks on equality, I've made a video for the Move Your Money campaign. These are all useful things, but I am also on benefits. And yet in Cameron's system, these things would get no recognition. I'm far too unwell to do any kind of paid job. I can only do this small amount of voluntary work, perhaps for an hour a week, but this isn't getting recognised. There are also many disabled people who might like to do voluntary work, but are unable to because of transport costs. Although the government provides transport assistance to people in paid work, it will provide none for voluntary work. I think this shows how Cameron does not appreciate voluntary work and won't give help to people to advance themselves unless they can do it in specifically a paid job. It's hard to measure the benefits that unpaid work have on the economy, and this is a problem. It's not something that's really easily quantifiable, but as the recession continues, more people are losing their jobs, more people are being pushed off disability-related benefits onto job seekers' allowance, into a market where there's even less jobs, and people who previously, such as graduates, would have found it easy to get a job, are now really struggling. Without the ability to count in pounds and pence exactly how much a person is worth by their income, we'll have to start looking for other ways of valuing people based on their skills, the contributions they make to society, and the money they save to the government by taking on unpaid roles. So, for example, a person who works in the Force Charity Shop, which is a charity shop in Exeter, that makes money, and the money goes towards the care of cancer patients. This means that the government pays less towards this, and so the person volunteering actually ends up saving money whilst being told they're a drain on society. I think that Cameron's big society needs to be a bit less small-minded to succeed in its aims, and to take a much wider view of how to value people, which isn't purely in terms of how much they can earn in wages, and is in greater terms of the benefit that they bring to each other and to society as a whole. Because I'm on benefits, and I feel being part of Occupy is a worthwhile thing to do, and I think it's negative to say that all the people who are on benefits are draining society. Especially because actually money is being wasted all the time. It's being fraudulently given out and drained in tax legislation, in tax evasion, and no one is coming down from the government on those who evade tax, the big companies that evade tax, in the same way as they're coming down on people who are benefits receivers. So next time I'm going to be talking about tax evasion, what it means, and just how much putting legislation in to avoid tax evasion would save society.